Don't know what's going on. Let me make sure that everything is good when it comes to audio and stuff. But yeah, things are not looking great in the crypto market. Like, not at all. Um, make sure everything is good. Let's see. It's called volatility. It goes both ways. Yeah, but like, do you see the level of volatility on this end versus the other end? Like, it's not looking, it's not looking the best. But I want to talk about what's going on in the market. I want to look at. I honestly don't know the reasoning as behind it, whether it is like a liquidation train, but that's what it made it seem like to me. I was super surprised to go on my leverage trading platform and realize that everything, everything was liquidated. Everything that I had, which some of them is unexplainable, and I need to talk to BTCC about, um, because a few of them they never had a chance to ever be liquidated. Like, never had a chance, not even a single shred of chance to actually be liquidated. But I'm not worried about it, right? It's not necessarily the largest amount, and I am down now, instead of when I started at $500, all the way back down to $300. I should be at a point, again, this was unexplainable to me. I should be at a point to where I'm at $2,000 and everything else was liquidated besides OKB, besides I can't remember the other two. There were two other plays that were at a 2x leverage and 3x leverage that had no chance of being liquidated. Um, and looking at the prices and where things fell to, it didn't seem that way. So either way, when you're holding things outright instead of actually leverage trading, you don't have any type of risk at all. So it's never an issue with me. When it comes to Coinbase or Kraken or anything like that, it's just this fluctuation is crazy. And honestly, it does make me want to purchase more, right? It does make me want to look at these and go, Jasmycoin at 80% of a penny. Yeah, it does make me look at it and go, CRO at, was it 14 cents or so? Yeah, and I start going, okay, I need to purchase more and more. But, it's like I tend to put a lot of my free money into my long term dividends and long term investments that are there, which also my dividend account is down by like $6,000. Not a crazy percentage, but still, you don't expect to see a 3% drop in your portfolio on something that has historically performed consistently, right? And has increased consistently. Do you blame Trump? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the full reasoning behind it, but ultimately, with government shutdown, I'm not necessarily happy about that. I would 100% say that. But there are some people to blame. There are some places to blame. I have to figure out exactly what's the full reasoning behind seeing this drop. Because while the market, and I'll show it unrefreshed, while the market was set at $4.2 trillion, now we can refresh it and it's sitting at a $3.75 trillion, which really doesn't speak to how much has dropped off and how far it has fallen back to a max level, right? Because you can look at XRP and say the levels were insane. You're saying, if you can, um, I don't know what you mean by that, but the max levels that they dropped off, it was just insane seeing it, right? It happened so fast, and I didn't get a glimpse of it until more recently, which we're still seeing low prices, right? Bitcoin's down by 6.89%. Ethereum's down by 12.48%. BNB is down by 12.19%. XRP is down by 16.85%. Solana is down by 14%. Dogecoin is down by 23, 24%. Cardano, 24, 25%. Hyper is, or Hype is down 12%, Chainlink 24%, Bitcoin Cash 11%, Stellar about 18%, SUI 25%, 26% for Avalanche, 23% for Litecoin, 23, almost 24% for HBAR, 21% for Shiba Inu. Like, these are levels, are crashes, are falls that you do not expect to see coming, right? Yeah, we've seen decreasing, and we've seen the market fall by 50%, or max we've seen is like 90% at one point. But seeing this all happen now, when we know altcoin season should be right around the corner, we're sitting at 35 on altcoin season. We're sitting at the fear and greed index, for some reason, is at 54. It should be insanely like fearful. But I guess since people saw the lows, they were like, I need to buy in at those lows, and I need to buy in now. You know what I mean? And I didn't see that, because if I saw a Jasmycoin down to, I believe it got to a 40% of a penny level. If I saw Jasmycoin at that 40% of a penny level, and I hope that some of you saw it, then you could have gotten $1 million for $4,000. So in the last day, we saw this all the way down to a 50% of a penny level for Jasmycoin. It's currently sitting at an 86% of a penny level, $428 million market cap with $84 million worth of volume. This type of downfall definitely shows you the reason. I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to buy at those low levels, but that is phenomenal. To get $1 million Jasmycoin for $5,000 versus getting $1 million Jasmycoin, if we look in the last year, for $60,000, I'll take that any day of the week, any single day of the week. Same thing goes for CRO. We saw drops that we just don't, expect to see, right? Over the last day, we saw a low here of 10 cents. It was all the way up to, in the last month, we've seen this up to 25, 30 cents. And now it gets down to a low of 10 cents. That's a no-brainer, right? So currently sitting at 14 cents. My cost basis is 12 cents. So not trying to buy above my cost basis, but could have definitely bought at the level of 10 cents again. But there's so much opportunity out there right now, and people are saying the same thing. It's a buy right now. I sound like, what was that? Is that InSync or is that Backstreet? I don't know who that is. Why can't I think of who it is? It's one of them, but I sound like them. Solana's sitting at a $189 price point. Like, I literally just came down from eating a slice of pizza, and right now my voice is trying to settle. My throat's trying to settle from eating the hot food and drinking water and whatnot. But we got 216 people here, guys. If you can hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Decided to hop on here to see what's going on. We're going to look at the news and everything. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let's see what everybody's talking about in the chat. So, what's going on with the market? We're definitely going to figure that out. Buy. Yeah, I mean, we should be buying, as you see, lower and lower prices. Like a Cardano at 61 cents. I think that's a phenomenal price. Cardano was one of those that shouldn't have been liquidated for me because it was at a 2x leverage. So I really want to get an explanation on that. I just put through, literally, I have, let me go back here. I literally have nothing open right now. No open positions. I have like $300 in my account, and I just opened a position in Jasmycoin at a 10x leverage, which is a little bit aggressive of a leverage, especially seeing how it increased from the 50% of a penny level. I wish I could have found that level and gone all in on that. But it's telling me, what's it telling me? That I have, what, 1,495? Is that right? Let me go into some positions here, because for some reason it's telling me I have 1,495. I should have multiple positions open, but I don't. I only have one position that's open. It's Jasmycoin at a 10x leverage, and it's up 42%. So my overall balance in BTCC right now has gone from y'all seeing it at a level of, $5,000 to now being at $500. Right. So it's like we're starting all over again, even though some of the positions that I owned, like I was up on heavily. And I think the problem was, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess what the problem was. The market dropped by so fast, so quick, right? Which is the same thing, by so fast that the stop losses that I had in place couldn't get filled at those levels, and it just kept dropping, and they got filled at lower and lower levels, which meant that I had to get force liquidated in the positions that I was positive in. But and that was to make up for any of the extra losses that I had. So this goes to show, right, that you can set your stop losses. Thank you for a follow over there on, I believe, Twitch. I appreciate it. It goes to show that you can have your stop losses and still, is Luna at a good price? Someone just said Luna. But you can have your stop loss and it still surpasses that stop loss if it drops too fast. Now, this is an unheard scenario to where everything fell down hard. We're talking about 30%, 40% in some cases, where that's not great, right? And I don't really know the reason why. Again, we're going to have to go into the news, but I'm only at a $500 balance for my BTCC portfolio, which means I start over again. And it's not necessarily a BTCC problem. It's more about the issue with, having stop losses that are going to be filled on something that drops like from here to there, right? From up here at this price, let's say it's $1 down to 60 cents and there's nothing in between. Like it's hard to fill in between there if that's where your stop loss was. You know what I mean? So help us out, big bro. I mean, with what? You never reply. I try to reply. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, it's great to see you as well. If you can. I don't know what that means. Big Black Friday sale. Big Black Friday sale going on. Absolutely, but it's not Black Friday. It's before it. Evening Perry. Yeah, I don't typically do some live streams here. I want to do a lot more, but this is usually when I put the kids to sleep and then we work out afterwards. So I'm just trying to always remain healthy and with the family and the children and the wife as well. It's called volatility. It goes both ways. I mean, yes, but again, not to this extent usually. Not in a blink of an eye, but with all of the leverage trading platforms, liquidation trains have been a major problem. And I think that's something that I'm going to have to work into my strategy to where I get prepared for any type of liquidation that I could have or any type of liquidation train that I could have. Meaning that if something drops from $1 to 60 cents and nothing in between, I have to account for that and make sure that I have funds either elsewhere, off platform, to easily put back in, or take profits, put those somewhere else, and then see all of that through to where no matter what, it does get liquidated at whatever it is, but then I have funds to put back in there that I made from it. Now, granted, I'm still happy to be at a level to where I'm positive on my portfolio, even though, I was up $5,000, $6,000 on my portfolio and what I invested into it, or because I put $500 into it. Now I'm only up $66 on my investment. So it's whatever. We need an explanation. We definitely will go into it. Yes, please place a limit order. That's all I really had there. Buy a coin and went up 50% in 2 minutes. That's fantastic. So you made it. How much did you invest into that? Was it a small amount? This was one hell of a liquidation event. Biggest one I've seen in 5 years. Absolutely. Trump's tariffs on China. You think that's the reason why? I got some CRO cheap. Well, that's good. The CRO at 10 cents or so. That's fantastic. What a great opportunity. Yeah, I did want to check really quick before we get into any other thing in the chat to see where Terra Luna Classic is. That's a very low price. This got to 0.00002 is what Terra Luna Classic got to. I think that's a absolute steal of a price. Still not lower than my cost basis, but Still, it's an absolute steal for a lot of people that may have bought a ton higher. Even where it is now, I think it's still a steal. It's a $200 million market cap. I see so much more for that position. um, we all got liquidated. It seems that way. Don't buy. I think buying is not a bad idea. I think buying outright, definitely, because none of my positions that I bought outright, we're not seeing any liquidations there. We're not seeing any problems there. I'm not panic selling in any way. I know what the market is going to be. I'm not stressing about these positions that are there. However, I can see that my Coinbase account was down a significant amount in just a short period of time and then jumped back up. But still down a significant amount over the last day. I think it's down like $100,000, which is insane. Grabbing 10 billion Dogelon Mars for 2K. The tariffs, government shutdown, ETFs not getting approved. ETFs didn't get an. Oh wait, I thought that approval was coming later this month. Garbage. Nobody is going to get rich for real. Do you blame Trump? Or I read that earlier. This is all a trap. What happened? We have to talk about that again. I have to see. I caught bonk. I'm gonna skip through because I feel like there's so many chats that are coming through. I appreciate you guys for chatting and being here. We got 257 people. If you guys can hit the like button, get me to 100 likes, that would be amazing. Matt, I bought Jasmy and now I have 1 million Jasmy. Love the prices. I am so happy that you were able to get Jasmy. I wanted to hear a successful story of people getting the positions that they want, because when you see these low prices, right, it only works if you have the funds in order to purchase. If you don't have any funds to purchase, it's not fun. You're just watching things that are falling, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. But if you do have the funds, if you do have money to purchase different positions at these low prices, you hear nothing but amazing success stories, and the fact that someone was able to gain, 50% or gain a ridiculous amount in a short period of time, as well as now finally have 1 million for a reasonable price, and then see it through and it gets to 6 cents and you're at $60,000 for having 1 million Jasmycoin. So I'm very happy for you. It's beyond manipulation. I think you can't do that kind of price action even with sell-offs or bots. So I don't know if it's technically manipulation, but I do think that there can be something like that in cryptocurrency. The reason why I'll say that is because leverage trading has been huge everywhere, on major platforms, on smaller platforms, has been huge. And when you see any type of liquidation, a lot of people have the same liquidation levels, just like they have the same maybe support and resistance levels. So when you see a support level, you're like, there's no way it's going to break through that. That's many people's resistance levels. They end up selling. That creates a liquidation train, or it creates a sell-off train. Now that sell-off train could then trigger multiple liquidations below the everybody's look of a support level. So let's say you had something that was worth $1, and the support level showed that it wasn't going to go lower than 70 cents. Everybody's support level and level to sell their position, get out of their position, or maybe even a buy at that level, is all set there. So you have a sell-off that happens there because people hit their level of acceptance. Then you have liquidations that are hit, which are right below that point. That creates a liquidation train, which then gets you to the next liquidation point for everybody else, maybe the 5x leverage level, and then another liquidation level at maybe the 2x leverage level. So it depends how much of this liquidation train or how far down this ladder you end up going, but you can see a heavy amount of fall off through liquidations in leverage trading. And that's just because right now it's such a speculative market that since we see such high swings, the liquidation swings are a lot bigger, a lot larger. We saw this when Bitcoin was around, 60,000 and dropped all the way down to 40 or sub 40. It was because the liquidations between. It was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. Hey, Matt, what a time to accumulate. But yeah, I agree. SUI fell to $1.13 earlier. I bought a small bag. That's amazing. Definitely manipulation. They always do this crap. 100% market manipulation. I've been in the market since 2019. I've never seen anything like this before. I've seen some drops like this, not like this in one day and how quick it was. I mean, I've seen some fast drops, but this is a little bit much. I bought SUI at $1.40. Amazing. I bought Jasmycoin. No more ups. I got to 1 million now. Hit a milestone. That's amazing. Bought also, but spot. Okay, so you bought outright instead of leverage trading. Um, Same with Pepe. Well, I cried a bit. How are you guys doing? I'm not really crying. I'm a little upset with the fact that things fall, but again, they're opportunities. I just want to see a lot of success, but we know that the market, it's such a speculative market, such a fluctuating market that we're going to see this. It's just we don't ever expect it. I've seen my shares of crashes, but this, nah. I tried to buy $10,000 of XRP at $1.50 to $1.70 to reach my accumulation goals. Robinhood kept rejecting. That sucks. I think the lowest point that I've seen XRP at was $1.80. Did it get down to $1.50? Why am I typing in $1.50? I'm pretty sure the lowest point that I got to today was $1.80. Am I right? Oh, it did get to a low here today of $1.53 and the high of $2.83. So it's definitely down a significant amount. Again, 15%. And seeing that low, it's just crazy to see that. I wouldn't expect it. My cost basis on XRP is $1.22. So it was right near my cost basis. Does it matter to me? It doesn't. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not afraid of it. It could drop down to 5 cents if it wanted to. Granted, I will buy a heck of a lot more if that ever happened. I will find money. I will take money out of the stock market to put it. If XRP ever went to a level of 5 cents, the only way is that if it got to 5 cents just because they stated that it's not going to be used for anything and that they were abandoning it, then that's a different story. However, the way XRP is, if it just suddenly dropped down super far, super low, lower than my cost basis, for sure, I would love to pick up more. But $10,000, they kept rejecting it for, well, see, that's the thing with Robinhood. Robinhood, when things start to get too ridiculous, they're just like, no, we're just not going to accept any orders. You know, we don't know what's going on. We don't know if we have the ability to even fill it. Like, Robinhood tends to have issues with that. That's why for all of my Robinhood positions, it's all long-term, broader market ETFs. That's what it's always been about. I'm never looking into any of those either quick-moving stocks or cryptocurrencies. I'm not doing it because cryptocurrency is so volatile. I can't do it. This would never be this bad if people use spot. True, but leverage trading offers a lot of people opportunities, and I think the only problem that we're going to have going forward is that these ETF owners, right? Not necessarily us owning the ETF, but like the Black Rocks and all of those, they have so much control over the larger amount of Bitcoin and XRP and Solana and all, like with all the ETFs and everything. That becomes a little bit of an issue where when you see a pullout, right? When you see withdrawals, they end up having a larger effect on the market because it's such a large amount that comes from one spot. So that manipulation could be a bigger deal in the future. I don't think that was really the case here today. I think it was more about bad decisions from a government standpoint, as well as, the liquidations and the overreaction of that, right? Overreaction of that liquidation and overreaction of the reaction to the liquidations, which created more liquidation. So it was definitely a bigger hit. Let me scroll through all of this. I'm sorry to skip past people's stuff. Anybody who got in 102K with a leverage got wrecked. Anybody got in 102K with leverage got wrecked. Yes. Yeah. XRP will will be gone since it's connected with the World Bank, IRS, Fed, London. I don't know what you mean by that. Did you come out to Vegas for the Bitcoin convention about 3 months ago? I did not. Jasmine is coming back. Jasmine did look like it was at, what was that, 80% of a penny? Jasmine's right here. It was at like 80% of a penny. Oh, now it's at 92% of a penny. So people that bought at these low levels was able to get 1 million for $5,000. I'm telling you, or any other level, you're going to be super happy with your decision. This was a complete wipeout for retail across the board. Yeah, I mean, it tends to create, you know, people being scared. I mean, even in the stock market, we saw some downturn, but crypto really got hit hard. Bitcoin between person to person, no taxes. XRP goes through the World Bank. No need for XRP. Remember when this guy bought pizza with 2 Bitcoin? No banks, no tracking. Yeah, but the problem is that you can't consistently use that for person to person. It's too slow and it's not energy efficient. You can't use Bitcoin that way. It's just not set up that way. I know that people were looking at it in the beginning to be that, but once you got to a point where things could be utilized a lot quicker, where it was, a minute between it, right? 15 minutes between, whatever, right? You had a lower amount where the dollar, it may take you 3 to 5 business days to fully clear, right? Pending. Bitcoin, might be minutes. However, no one wants to truly wait there for minutes, but you could do the same thing that you do with the dollar in banks, where you could take Bitcoin and transfer that from bank to bank and still have a pending process, and it'll happen in a shorter period of time than what you have with the dollar. However, with something like Ethereum, it would be less minutes, right? Less time. For something like an XRP, it happens within seconds. So that's something that could truly be person to person without any banks. Bitcoin, you would need a bank, or else you would have to stand there until you get that money, which could be a long time. Especially with congestion and all that stuff, not being able to do a certain amount in a certain period of time. I feel like if it's happening in seconds and it's cheaper and it's more efficient, XRP is the way. A thing like XRP, Solana, can't think of other ones. I mean, Ethereum too. I mean, that's not that bad, but it's also not as good as something like an XRP. So I wouldn't say it's person to person yet. I wouldn't say it ever will be. It's a store of value for a reason, and that's why they changed their mindset. Hey, this is not, you're not going to utilize Bitcoin like you do the dollar. It's just going to be a store of value, and it's compared to gold. I have a question. If they steal it, won't it come back eventually? If they steal it, won't it come back eventually? What do you mean by that? Why did crypto crash? Again, we're trying to fully figure that out. There's probably a combination of things, but we can ask AI. I feel like asking AI is always great. And hopefully they have an update, because typically they're like a day behind. The crypto market experienced a sharp decline today, largely triggered by escalating tensions between the US and China following President Trump's announcement of a 100% tariff increase on Chinese imports starting November 1st. This move has ignited a full-scale trade confrontation, causing widespread turmoil across global financial markets, including equities and digital assets. The total cryptocurrency market capitalization reportedly fell by nearly $200 billion following the announcement. Bitcoin saw a significant drop of over 10%, falling below 110,000, which I believe it currently is. While other major cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, XRP, and Solana experienced sharper declines of 15 to 30%. Over $1 billion in leverage crypto positions were liquidated in short period as traders exited positions amid the market uncertainty. So key factors contributing to the decline: trade war escalation. President Trump's announcement of 100% tariffs, export of China significant market uncertainty and risk off sentiment. among investors, market sentiment there. You have concerns over inflation, renewed concerns for Federal Reserve regarding inflation, added to the uncertainty potentially making investors hesitant to commit new capital to high volatility assets or volatility assets like crypto. Regulatory uncertainty, proposed new regulations for Democratic senators, including placing decentralized finance protocols on the restricted list and imposing know your customer rules on crypto applications, have been met with criticism and could negatively impact the DeFi space. The dollar strength, rising US dollar can pose a threat to crypto assets, which I don't think that's really an issue there. That last part, that's not really it. But definitely more of what the latter. I bought more Jasmine, man. Mate, it's not just Robinhood. Every freaking exchange stopped taking buy orders, did they? Because it was so low and they were just like, we can't. There's so much that's happening right now. Maybe if you were buying just on the chain itself rather than exchanges. So if you had some money sitting on exchanges, you could buy a ton at those low levels. That's how I ended up buying Terra Luna Classic at such a low level. Because Terra Luna Classic was at like a 6-0 level. Every other exchange stopped trading it, I think, at like 4 or 5 zeros. And I was honestly under the impression that I was buying at 5 zeros, but then I ended up buying at 6 zeros, and I bought a heck of a lot for only $43. So that's something that could have happened, and it might even have been lower in price. That's why maybe some of my positions that I thought didn't get or shouldn't have gotten liquidated with the low prices probably hit even lower prices, at least for a very short period of time. XRP soon at $2.50. Yes, you need to have stable coins to take advantage. I didn't have any, so was trying to use my card. Yeah, I mean, that's typically how that goes, right? If you see so many opportunities, you now have a lot of your money maybe in banks, and you're like, I need to find a way to get it directly into the crypto exchanges or on some of these wallets, which honestly you could, right? With a MetaMask, you could potentially buy with your bank card. It's just you would have a limit on how much you can buy, so still you would be limited to a certain amount. And if all these things are happening super fast, it makes it difficult for you to even get in the position at all. You don't have enough CRO, Matt. How don't I have enough CRO? I have 400, 420,000. I feel like that's enough. I would love to have 1 million. And if it was down to 5 cents again, I think that's a strong possibility, right? To actually obtain that. And that's something that I wanted to see. I wanted to see XRP get to a level of, $5, so I can take my first sell and take a decent amount of that to, you know, buy a lot of CRO or something. Like that's kind of what I wanted to have. Isn't crypto illegal in China? I don't think this is a China. I don't think this is a crypto China issue. I think it's more of a tariff China issue, which affects the entire market, affects businesses, affects financial institutions, affects the broader market. So, and then that affects crypto in a large way, which creates fear um, amongst crypto holders and just investors in general. Coinbase did me a favor when I wanted to stock up on H bar and Jasmy. It didn't let me initially, and when I um, could, prices were even lower. That's amazing. Then you just got like I don't know, maybe you got a nudge from Coinbase where they were like, yeah, hold up. There's something else coming, something else cooking. So they were able to give you that lower price. That's amazing. Congratulations on that. Kronos was calling my name. Bought the dip at 8 cents. I didn't see it at 8 cents. The lowest I saw it at was like 10 cents. Let's see what the lowest point is for CRO. It seems like everything is coming back. The CRO is back to like 15 cents or so. But I guess, let's see. The lowest point that it says on CoinMarketCap, and maybe it lost tracking for a lot of things, but the lowest point it says on CoinMarketCap is for the last 24 hours is 9 cents, which is not a bad price to be able to buy 100,000 for like nine, $9,000. That's not bad at all. MEXC is moving like a train, up 35%. Well, great for them. I don't even know if I have I think I might have MEXC because it's in my watch list, but I don't know. CRO went to 6 cents on MEXC. Did it? Well, that's amazing. So some exchanges, continued to track it or something, and other ones like stopped trading and they were just like, I'm not tracking it anymore. What do you think about Mana or Decentraland? I don't really have many thoughts on it. I think metaverses are still going to be a thing. It's just not as popular as AI and honestly looking at the top 10 or 25 cryptocurrencies rather than looking at a certain sector. And I think that sector that's more popular is definitely AI right now. But I still think that you'll see success um, in these metaverse, coins. Ended up buying some Teo at lower prices. That's amazing. Crazy to see MXC moving. It is hot down here, like hot, like super hot for some reason. How did SUI drop 80%? SUI dropped 80%? The lowest point that it dropped? So it's currently at $2.70. The lowest point that it got to today was 95 cents. Holy cow. So there must have been a lot of strong leverage trades in SUI to drop 80%. What is that? From the high today of $3.48. Let me see. Let me bring up a calculator. $3.48. Minus. Oh, I did that wrong. uh, so 72% is what the lowest. That's crazy. 70% that it drops. I mean, in a time to where 70% is not the norm, of course, but this drops by 70%. That's that's crazy. Did anybody pick up some SUI? I thought I heard somebody say they or read somebody did that. Let me look at my other chats because I'm not logged in to Kick or to Twitch, but I do appreciate you being here and viewing and talking me through what's going on. Were you able to purchase anything? Let's go to my stream manager. We'll go to my creator dashboard. But thank you for following. It was over on Kick, so thank you for following on Kick. I appreciate it. But yeah, the markets just look insane. I'm also live on X, by the way. Should be live on multiple platforms here. If you guys want to, risk your hearts at leverage trading or anything, feel free to check out my link in the chat. The link should be pinned to the chat where you can get extra 500 USDT if you sign up before October 15th. You sign up, deposit, and trade. You can get a potential chance to win 500 USDT, as well as get a 10% deposit bonus. So check it out if you want to. Definitely a little bit risky at the moment. Well, probably a little less risky because the markets have dropped by so much. My brother actually I would love to see what he did, because he shorted Bitcoin at 124,000. So I don't know what prompted him to short it at 124,000, but he did, and he should be up. I don't think he did a crazy leverage, but he should be up, hundreds of dollars at this point, not thousands. I don't think he did a lot, because the last time we talked about it, he was up like um, $50. So maybe hundreds of dollars, like $200 or so. I appreciate you guys here. We got 282 people that are here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's crazy to say that SUI dropped by 72% from the high to the low today. That's insane. And that's what they have tracked on CoinMarketCap. It may be even a lower price point on other platforms. I did SUI at 113. There you go. Yeah, I knew somebody said something. I'm glad I didn't buy SUI. That's a knife in wallet. You mean it's like a falling knife? I support you, Matt. I love your show, but this is frustrating. I feel like that meme that says they can't keep getting away with this. It is very, very frustrating. I always want to see, like, I want to see something happen, especially that you have short-term investments that you want to profit off of. I always want to see something happen like now. However, I'm very patient. With any of my positions that are not leverage trading positions, like I don't put all my money into leverage trading. If I did that, it'd be insanely risky. But, I still have open positions that are ready for any type of fluctuation. This is what you have to deal with in cryptocurrency. People deal with this now, but imagine, if you weren't a part of the crypto market, imagine what they were dealing with when it was even more volatile. There were some times when you didn't see as much volume, as you would expect to see, where it looks like virtually no volume, but then the next day you have major fluctuation and it picks up a heavy amount. But then the next day it absolutely decreases to an even lower amount. You're waiting a decade or plus in order to see some of these prices that they're seeing now. And I think if they're waiting a decade to get to where we are now, we wait 5 to 10 years to get to where we're going to be, and we're patient and we're ready to see, what that level is at those levels. It might be a 10 trillion, it might be a $30 trillion market cap. That's why I look at it. I picked up some Cosmos. I was looking at Cosmos. That's the first position that I was looking at. And I was like, where Atom is, I think it was at like $2. Where Atom was, it just made sense. $2. I think the lowest point here was $2.01. You could pick up 1,000 Cosmos for $2,000. This is something that has been, standing at 10, 11, 20, $40. So you picking up 1,000 of Cosmos means that you can get to $40,000 easy just with 1,000 Cosmos, right? So it's something that I was definitely looking at, and I was like, I should buy more. Right now, I think it's well above my cost basis or below my cost basis. So I still could purchase now, but I already have 2,000 Cosmos. One that's sitting there forever, another one that I'm actually going to see through to some of these higher figures. Cosmos is a great move. That's the first position immediately when I saw it. I was like, I need to view what Cosmos is doing. I want to see where my position is, because I know that. So my Jasmycoin position is up by $275. I'm a little upset with my OKB position because I was at a fantastic level. I don't know where OKB is right now, but I was at a fantastic level where I felt like I was not going to be liquidated no matter what. I was at a level where it was $95. I was not going to be liquidated at all, but I was forced liquidated because of other positions that couldn't hold up their end of the bargain, right? And I'm so pissed at that because I had a phenomenal play. I'm talking about $95 for OKB, waiting for that to pop off to multiple hundreds of levels, if not $1,000, and be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Like I was set for that position, and because it got forced liquidated, now I'm starting back at square one, and I don't want to buy OKB. I don't want to buy it at a $175 price point, even though I know it can be successful. Now I have to sit on the sidelines of OKB and not be a part of that. And it's honestly, it's not about the leverage trade, right? I know some people are like, hey, don't trust leverage trading. I like leverage trading. I'm going to continue to leverage trade. I like it. It's just when you see unicorn situations like this, you don't expect to see it. This is something to where it drops a significant amount so fast that your stop loss can't react to it. So your order that goes through doesn't get filled until it's at the lowest possible point, or it gets to a complete liquidation of all of your positions. And that's where you never see that. This is the only time in history that I have ever seen that, where I have had all of my stop losses set. However, it drops so fast that none of them could get filled, and they all had a forced liquidation at the lowest price that they can have. Most of them, right? OKB should have been positive, even though it got to the lowest point. It was still up $1,000, right? I had ADA that was in there that was still at a successful point because I only had a 2x leverage. And that's where if you have any that are aggressive leverages, that's where they can come back and bite you in the butt. But you don't typically see it. This is a unicorn situation that never happens. It's just, it happened, you know? And it really does suck because that was a position that I was happy about following and being a part of, even though I didn't have money to buy it outright. You know, at the time of the news breaking for OKB, I was excited to see a $125 price. I was excited to see a $150, a $200 price, a $220 price. Now, I couldn't care less because I don't hold it, and I don't even need to hold it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to buy or leverage trade right now at a 2x leverage at the $176 price point, which is $70 or $80 higher than what my price point was when I bought in the first place. So just want to let you know that typically, if I was not say typically, in the past, if I was trading this, I would get emotional and I would buy back in right away, right? Obviously, I did that with Jasmycoin to be able to get the return that I have now of $247 or 76% to kind of get back on my feet here. And that's not a bad play. I think I'm going to go ahead and close this and just accept what I have. So then I could put through a higher price for a lower leverage. So I'm going to close this, right? Accept my $200 gain in what I have left in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a Jasmycoin position. I think it might have risen a little bit more back to like 1 cent. Then I'm going to have to find a play to where I look at a 2x leverage. I don't expect it to come back down to here. So I'm going to do a 2x leverage for a higher amount. And that's how I'm going to get this set and off the ball and running again. So it's going to be a Jasmycoin at a very low leverage, let's say 2 to 3x leverage, because I don't expect it to get down to 60 cents. So it would be 3x leverage. And it's going to be majority of what I had there. So how much am I risking? I want to do about half of that. Right. So then I'll do a long position in that. And that'll be something that sets for a longer period of time, because now I could set a cost or a stop loss at 33% instead of 30%, meaning that I drop $250 if it gets down to 60 or 6 60% of a penny. Confirm that. And then maybe I'll have a position in Atom. I think Atom is not a bad play here. I think there's some others as well. I'll probably have to look closer before I decide to go with Atom. I would say I might go with ADA or AVAX. What was the lowest price that AVAX got to today? Atom got to a low of, it said $2, and this got down to $1.50. It's the lowest point that it got to, and it's currently sitting at $3. So I don't expect it to get to $1.50 again, so I'm going to go ahead and do a 2x leverage on Atom as well. But I always want to protect it. So 2x leverage. And if that gets liquidated, then, oh well for what that is. So 2x leverage on Atom for a long. And we're going to go ahead and start this back up. This is going to be at 50%. If this drops by 50%, actually, I'll just do 40%. Because that's enough. If it gets down to $1.77, then I lose basically what I put in there, but still have life left in it. So there we go. 2 leverage trades get me back on track after basically everything getting liquidated. Some that didn't deserve to get liquidated. Most that didn't deserve to get liquidated. This is a unicorn situation that I wouldn't have ever saw coming. Obviously, if I saw coming, I would have done something with it. But it's insane. My alts are just crushed. Yeah. Every time I use leverage, it's a unicorn situation. No, see, most people that they think they're like, oh, this will never happen. And they do a 10x leverage, but a 10x leverage may cause for like a 5 or 10% drop, right? If it drops by, 5%, you lose everything that you invested in there. Actually, 10%. It drops by 10%, you lose everything that you invested in there. If it drops by, you put in a higher leverage, 20%, it drops by 5%, you lose everything that you put in there. So the percentages are a lot lower of what you can accept and the mistakes that you can make. When you do a 2x leverage or 3x leverage, the markets or the position will be like a 50% drop or a 30% drop, and you have so much more wiggle room to where you lose everything. So market is booming, Matt. I mean, I don't know about that. Is this a scare tactic? I don't think it's a scare tactic. I just think it's for what happened with the U.S. and China. I would say yes, that's more of like a hey, who blinks first type of situation. But I don't think this is a scare tactic. Rough day in the markets. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely rough. I saw it. I was like, I have to hop on here. I have to. With what's going on, I have to get involved and see what's actually happening and why it has dropped so much. Was it justified? And I don't think in any case that it was justified, right? That it dropped by this much, that all of my positions, even the ones that were insanely positive, were forced to be liquidated. And I go from a $6,000 balance in my BTCC account to now $600. Even though I started at $500 and it's great to, still be up, even though everything like that happened. And even in my regular crypto account, I'm still up, even though all of that happened. It just sucks to see it. AVAX was below $20. That was the lowest point that it was. Let me see. Let me see the lowest point that at least BTCC says. What? It says that AVAX got down to $8. That might be the lowest I've ever seen AVAX. $8? Matt, is 1.2 million Jasmycoin good? Yeah, I have 1 million Jasmycoin, and I consider that good. Having 1.2, fantastic. You have 200,000 more Jasmycoin than me. And, as long as you have a good exit plan and whatever you plan to get out of that, yeah, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Congratulations on having that much. I just casually looked and was like, what the fuck just happened? I said the same thing. I was like, what's going on? Well, see, I didn't look at the crypto market. I looked at BTCC and tried to look at my accounts. I was like, or tried to look at my portfolio. I was like, why are none of my positions loading? Why is it saying that I have 500 or $400 in my account right now? Why is it saying that? And I'm like, oh, okay. Did something go wrong? Something happened? And then I scroll up to the chart and see that Bitcoin's right on the screen and showed that it got down to 102,000. I was like, okay, so what the hell happened to everything else? There's no way that I got liquidated in OKB. There's no way that I got liquidated in ADA. There's no way I got liquidated in AVAX. And lo and behold, AVAX definitely got liquidated. $8? Absolutely. I got liquidated. I think my lowest point of acceptance was like, it was like $10 or something. Or no, it was like 13, which I didn't expect that to happen at all. My purchase price was 16. And I think the lowest point that I was going to get liquidated was like 14 or 13. And I was like, it hasn't gotten here in literal like a year or two. Like it hasn't been there, and we're going to see nothing but positivity. Even if we see a major downturn, I would still only expect that to come down to maybe 19 or 18, right? Potentially down to 17, but I do not expect it to go down below my cost basis, let alone below at my liquidation point. The fact that it got to $8.50 of a low point here is absolutely insane. That is crazy work when it comes to how much liquidations went into this. There had to have been some form of manipulation. The fact that it dropped from a $30 price point all the way up there in a matter of months down to an $8 price point, and then back up to a $20 price point, $21 price point, is clear, right? There has to be something else that's there. Liquidations don't just do that. There's so much more, but I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, everybody's out to get me or everybody's out to get us. But they really don't want us holding what we're holding. If we're holding a crazy amount of cryptocurrency and they are not, they as in the elitists, right? They're losing out on opportunity, but now they're able to gain an opportunity. They find the lowest possible prices for AVAX at $8. They buy that up, it gets back up to $20. They're set right down here. They're set in every position, every major position. They are absolutely set. I didn't get a chance to see it. It happened within minutes. Most people don't get a chance to see it, but you know who all are watching at that time? All of the hedge funds, all of the firms, all of the big banks, all of the institutions, all of them are watching at that point and buying at that point. And now they can transfer to wherever they want to. They bought on their wallets. They got their education they needed. They collapsed the market. Like that could be the case. But it also could be the fact that, you see this governmental impact. It also could be the fact that we see the liquidation trains, right? I was watching. Yeah, I mean, you got some people that were watching John 3:16. But I wasn't. I was eating pizza. Wait, what time was it that it fell? 17? It says 17 o'clock. What time is that? That is 5? Actually wasn't. I was in the process of ordering pizza, work, and playing a game with the kids. So I wasn't watching. You snooze, you lose. Yeah, I guess. I'm not really upset about it. You'll catch me off stream crying in the corner over here because I didn't get a chance to buy more AVAX at $8. I would love to. Absolutely would love to. Like find a way to take money from my actual bank account and buy more AVAX at that low price. Absolutely. But, I missed my opportunity. I snoozed. I lose. No way that's on Trump, at least not Trump alone. I think there's multiple factors in it, but that has to be a major factor into the panic that happens And then when you have panic, you have negativity, then you have liquidations. Those liquidations create more panic, and that more panic creates liquidations. And we've seen that time and time again from not just a governmental related issue, but multiple issues across the board. It could be an ETF getting denied. It could be, what happened with, Terra Luna Classic, whatever, right? But then those liquidations have a major impact on the markets and on, what's up, Spencer? They have a major impact on so many things. Oh, you're so heavy. Um, Flash crash right before the crypto ETF's approval. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, this is October, right? Are we going to see a complete recovery to get us back to? If we see a complete recovery to a point where we are positive in October, then I 100% believe there had to have been some form of massive manipulation here. Is that your cat? What's his name? His name's Spencer. He's got a mustache. He has a mustache. His name's Spencer. Um, if you were 80K liquid, what price point would you buy XRP? What number should buyers keep an eye on? So, I mean, the lowest point, I honestly missed what the lowest point was. But yeah, some of these low points that you have there of 150, 170, that would have been phenomenal to purchase at. But for me, if I had 80K liquid, I already have enough in XRP, especially with no matter what, all of that was above my cost basis. So I wouldn't be looking for any of those price points for me specifically. If you are not in XRP or this is below your cost basis, anything that is below your cost basis should be considered a good price to buy, right? Because if you believed in it above where it is, why wouldn't you believe in it below it, especially significantly below it? Because right now it looks like everything is starting the journey of recovery. So it's a little bit of an issue. You will see some downturns because with any type of movement, you will see pullbacks from certain resistance levels. But yeah, I have to be honest, like I'm not looking at any price points for purchasing right now. His mustache is adorable. Well, thanks. I didn't give him the mustache. He had it. That cat wanted to buy crypto. Probably. No, it didn't get to 1, 2. It got to $1.50 is what XRP got to. $1.53. That's what it showed. Let's see what the lowest point they have here on BTCC, because what they use is TradeView, so it tracks the charting a little bit more. The lowest point that it says on BTCC that I got to was $1.22. Even though most people weren't able to buy it at that level, it did have the ability to, or you were able to buy it at that level if it was at a specific time. Like say if you went to go buy on your wallet, on the chain directly, you would have been able to get at $1.22. But it happened so fast that you probably wouldn't have been able to buy it. The chances of you buying at that level would have been low. But either way, at $1.20, $1.40, $1.50, $1.60, anything below $2, I'm sold on, right? My cost basis is $1.22. So where it got to was, from what it says, was very, very close to my cost basis. So glad I bought the dip. It was a week out simple. Are we going to see a buy trend now, or do we keep falling? I would imagine we're going to see a lot more positivity because of the prices that we're at, which are steal prices for a lot of people. So we may see more of that. Are you still holding Grock? Yes, I'm still holding Grock. Where's Grock at? Is that at a very low price too? I would imagine so, right? It's got to be. Looks like Cosmos is coming back. Um, so Grock would be at $870. The lowest price point that it was at was 65 or 6% of a penny, meaning that $650 would have gotten me a million Grock. Now, that's a risky play because you have to believe in Grock, and I do, right? I have 2 million Grock. I don't have just 1 million, I have 2 million now because I bought more when it was at 1 cent or 10% of a penny. Because I was like, if I can buy 1,000 more or a million more for $1,000, I'm going to take it. So I bought more Grock at that point. So I have 2,000 or 2 million Grock in my possession. Hopefully that works out. You never know. Which lowered my cost basis to a break-even point at instead of being at 70% of a penny, now it's at like 35% of a penny. So I'll take that any day of the week. People should be happy. It's a good day to buy. Hopefully, most view it this way. I mean, I would say that there's a lot of people that maybe gave up on crypto after seeing what happened today because you buy at some of these higher levels expecting, altcoin season, but then you have AVAX that goes to levels it hasn't been to in years, $8. You have low levels for XRP it hasn't been to in over a year, which is $1.22 or $1.24. You don't expect to see these things happen, so that a lot of people will overreact and go, look, I'm not losing my entire investment. I'm not going to be on the other side of this and not make money from it. So they end up selling it. And that's fine, right? They do what they want to do, and I'm not going to be mad at them. But it is something that you have to see all the negativity that happens and all the positivity that happens. And you have to, weed out, any of that negativity there. Guys, we have 342 people here. If you guys want to take take a chance with leverage trading, you have BTCC that's in the chat. They have a deal that's going on where if you sign up, deposit, and trade, you could potentially win 500 USDT. That link is at the top of the chat. You also get a 10% deposit bonus. And I think at these times are probably a really good time to make those moves, right? I've been historically positive on leverage trading. Obviously, with this unicorn situation, it just didn't really work out the best because I was positive on many things. But even though you set a stop loss, it goes to show that you can easily be liquidated further than that depending on how fast the drop is. So when you have something that's such a speculative market, you can't really win when you have those unicorn situations that happen. However, I'm confident in leverage trading. I've been able to make money here and there consistently, actually. And even though I have lost all of those investments, I still am up on my overall portfolio, which is crazy because I had money that was sitting in reserve and that money didn't get touched. Thank goodness it didn't, right? But I now have, while I started with $500, I'm still up, I think like $50 or $60. So can't believe you're still pushing leverage trading today. I mean, in a way, it's still a way to make a decent amount of money. I'm a fan of leverage trading, even though like you see what happened to me, right? I had 10 positions. All of those positions, not all of the positions, some of the positions got liquidated so much so that they forced my hand on the positive ones that I had. Right? That's just how that goes. I haven't ever experienced that. That was very interesting. But I still believe in being able to leverage trade. It's just a speculative market makes everything makes everything difficult. So while I still have my positions here, these ones that I just put in, I think will have a longer life, right? Because they're at a lower price. Jasmycoin's at a 90% of a penny level. And I feel like there's a lot of success above where it is right now. and will jump back above 1 cent, jump up to 2 cents, and will be worth a decent amount more, right? Even at that level, let's see if I take profit and it's at a let's go just 0.01. That's a $55 profit. 0.02 is an $855 profit. You're talking about a 2 cent price point that has been at multiple multiple times. Get to a 3 cent price point, that's 1,600. So like you still have the ability to make money from it. And you can't just give up on something because something went wrong. You learn, right? You have these lessons, you learn from it, you go back into it and realize, that situation of how fast this drop was for this position and all positions doesn't happen all the time. It rarely happens, like ever. So seeing XRP at these low prices, seeing Atom at these low prices, seeing Jasmycoin at low prices gives me the opportunity to just profit on top of these, right? If I can see Atom back to a $40 price point, that's $7,400. That's back to the all-time high that we've seen it at, but still, like I believe in where Atom can get to, and I believe in my major position to have an effect like that. So if I can get $4,000 out of that or $7,000 out of that, I'll take that, profit from it, and then move it into the next position. Everything that happens to you, you should learn from, right? I'm not getting upset at myself because I was invested in 10 different positions. I'm upset at myself because I didn't realize that something can drop that fast to where other things that are majorly positive could get force liquidated. Thank you for following Crazy Fist 89. I don't know where you're following on, whether it's Twitch or it is on Twitch. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You're still here, so crypto did not do good for you. I mean, it's fine with me. I mean, crypto is doing great for me. Sorry, commercials. Nice. I have some money in it. I have XRP, just hold, I think. I'm a cook and can't do fast moving. I got you. Well, thank you for watching on Twitch. Thank you for following on Twitch. I appreciate it. Would love to just grab and see more follower growth for places like Kick and like Twitch, as well as having the streaming presence that I have on YouTube. So appreciate you guys. We got 299 people here. If you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, please do so. We've had 3,000 people that have been here. So if you guys can get me up to 300 likes, that would be amazing. I like to be about 10% of what the views are. So please hit that like button. It does help out the channel, helps out growth, helps out the conversation as well. In 5 years, you won't be able to. I won't be able to what? 5 years, I won't be able to what? Good morning. Coinbase fixed now. Bought more XRP. Happy days. What price did you buy XRP at? More damp coming. Get ready. More damp. Want to be open for long and just a gamble. They can recover 50% for a fair value. Is that what you said? For I don't even know why this is not working. Cover 50% for fair value gap and drop right back down. Need to wait for them to set a range. On chain, I'm gonna go there. Great prices to buy. I mean, typically, yeah, that's what I see. Arbitrage. These prices are all over the place. I mean, they are. Will we dip again now? I mean, I would imagine we're going to see, kind of a little bit of a recovery, right? We saw that larger recovery from the lowest point, and it continued into the next few. I think these are hours. Yeah, I'm looking at the hour chart. So the next few hours, a couple of hours, and we're going to see a little bit of a retracement to kind of reset how much growth we have seen over these hours from that drop to the high point. That's a large distance from 122. This is just XRP that we're looking at, from 122 all the way up to, $2.45. Like that's a large distance to recover in a short period of time. So you would expect to see a little bit of a downturn and maybe some resistance that's up in these levels, up in the 200 EMA, the 15 moving average, like those levels to get back to what I call reality or get back to earth. Shall I buy Jasmycoin? What about it? So Jasmycoin is all about data, right? When you think about owning your own data, you think about Jasmycoin. When you think about Japan as well, you think about Jasmycoin, right? So it is the Bitcoin of Japan. That's what they classify it as. They have some major partnerships with Sony and Panasonic, and I believe seeing the attention that we've seen more recently and getting that from a level of 40% of the penny up to 6 cents, the growth potential is insane. I think it's going to be a lot more than just that 6 cent level. That's why I didn't sell at 6 cents, even though my $4,000 that I put into it was worth $60,000. I see a lot more, and can't wait for altcoin season to truly happen. And this could be the drop that we needed to see to see the level of increase or interest into cryptocurrency. In 5 years, you won't be able to. In 5 years, I won't be able to what? CRO is going lower, dollar cost average. This isn't a lesson. It's a damn crash. You learn lessons from all of that stuff, from everything that could be crashes, right? In 2008, 2009, I bet people learn from that, not only from what they're holding and what they have their money into, but also about being patient. Because if you would have just kept your money in the markets rather than panicking and going, I need to get everything out, you would be up a massive amount from those low levels. If you would have been able to find ability to buy at those low crash levels, right, you would have been up so much that you wouldn't have to worry about anything else that happened in the market, and you would have had the opportunity to buy even Bitcoin when you first saw it, or being able to mine it, or whatever, right? You would have been thinking about other things outside of just your standard job, right? Your wealth would have come from how much money you can gain from the positions you have in the market. Your money would have been making money for you if that's the case. With every single instance, whether it's a crash, a mistake that you make, a situation somehow that goes sideways, you can learn from everything, even the positive things. If you are not learning from these things, then you might as well just stop investing, because you're just going to keep making the same mistake over and over again. It's all a lesson, all of it. This is just gross. The level of drop is just gross. XRP can get an ETF, then its price will be fully controlled by Wall Street. I don't think that's the case. So understand that they're not going to own 100% or a large majority of XRP through ETFs. Now, you will have a lot of what could be owned with all-encompassing ETFs, which I feel like once that becomes a major thing, like a GDLC, those positions that are top 5 cryptocurrencies, top 20, top 100 cryptocurrencies, those ETFs will be able to control the crypto market, because 99% of what you guys invest into, what everybody invests into, will be held by these institutions because of however much money you put into this individual ETF. It buys into the broader market, which is worth multiple hundreds of billions or trillions, right? Necessarily, they're just going into Bitcoin and going into Ethereum and XRP and the top positions. But those even top 5 positions still make up like 90% of the entire crypto market. So that's where you start seeing the control. But when you are a part of that, if you are a part of those broader market ETFs, you're on the ground floor of what they have to offer. And as you see that growth, you're investing into the broader market rather than investing into one single position. That one single position could go a decent amount. that crypto all-encompassing ETF could grow so much more with 5 different positions or 10 different positions or 100. What's going to debut at $16? Dude, what's your target for XRP right now going lower? Um, I would say if I was looking to purchase, I would probably look at some of these lower levels, the lower part of this candlestick that we've seen in the last hour, which would be $2.30. But I would be looking even further to kind of, if I missed everything that happened here, I would be looking for that $2.12 mark. Right, that's kind of what I would be searching for. I wouldn't be looking for this mark. I don't expect that to happen. I think this was something that happened. It was like more of a let's call it a chemical spill, right? It was more of a chemical spill. It was an accident that it dropped at that low, and not necessarily like it actually was an accident, but I think it wasn't something that was supposed to stay there and consolidate there. It was just a reaction based off of multiple reactions we had in the day, meaning that you get the news of China and the US and tariffs, and you get the news with whatever else, and you see a reaction of people like, I need to get out of the markets now. So they get out of those markets. Well, that reaction causes it to drop down to a point where things get liquidated. That liquidation then creates another reaction because liquidation hits faster than anything that I've seen. When things get liquidated, there are so many sells that happen at one time. It's not just like, oh, one person had a larger sell. It's like, no, this entire exchange has so many people that are at this liquidation mark, and it's a liquidation train. So things go from, let's say XRP would go from $2.50 down to $2 without even skipping a beat. And it's like, how did I lose $50 per coin in a matter of a second, right? Now, with people seeing that reaction, you have more of a sell-off because people think that things are just going to absolutely crash 90%. And when that sell-off happens, you now hit a new liquidation point where now there's another liquidation where it drops from 170 down to 150 or 130. And you're like, what is going on? And until you get to a point to where people stop reacting to that, that's where it stops, right? Until you get to a point to where you have an influx of people that are like, this is the lowest price I've ever seen. Let me get into this now. That's where you start seeing more of a buy order, and that's where it picks up from this low level and really jumps. And in this hour, really jumps, creating strength. But then you see in this hour, the body is small. You have more of a spinning top, but the body is closer to the bottom of the candlestick, meaning that it has more bearish momentum than it does bullish. Even though it's a green candlestick, it's closer to the bottom, meaning that it had to recover from the point that it started all the way up to this point, but it's still showing a lot more bearish activity. This is showing more bullish activity, but not aggressive. It's the body is closer to the top, but it is still close to the middle as well, meaning that you have inconsistency. People don't know where it's going to go. So you could potentially see that continue to drop a little bit. It looks like it got down to the low part of this and then broke up a little bit. But, seeing this and the way that it reacted, it's like people are so uncertain as to where things are going. So again, my price target would probably be around this point if I was looking for the lowest spot. However, we're still uncertain where this is going, so it could break out and break past this $2.40 level, which would be great, but it's not a guarantee. Whales bought today, but us regular had a hard time keeping different exchange options. And keep an eye out for the next big dip. Buy. I don't expect to see what you're seeing, the next big dip. I feel like our liquidations, huge liquidations, happened. Big liquidation, boys. Yeah. ETF is for Wall Street to get cut. Nothing more or less. Also, hurts price. It depends too. So I would disagree in a way. I think um, it hurts the way we look at crypto and the way we see crypto, but I don't think it necessarily hurts the price. I think it actually benefits the price because it stabilizes it. But what most people don't want to see in the crypto market is that stabilization. We want to see massive growth, right? That's what we're used to, and we want to see that continue. But as you have ETFs, it brings more traditionalists into that market. But there's still a lot of people that are, skeptical of even those ETFs, because those ETFs primarily track Bitcoin, primarily track Ethereum, primarily track XRP and Dogecoin and whatever that single position is. And what they've always learned, those traditionalists, is that if you want to have any consistency, you invest into the broader market. And investing into the broader market will give you that consistency that you want, because it's not just seeing a Bitcoin that's down by 2%. It's also seeing an XRP that's down by 10%. But then on the other hand, an XRP that's up by 10%, you're also seeing a Bitcoin that's up by a consistent 2 or 3%, right? So it has more consistency on one way or the other. Even though crypto is still volatile, it has that consistency to follow the entire market, the broader look of the market. If you were invested into the entire market versus invested into one thing, right? Let's look at the entire market. The entire market is down by 10%. If you invested all of your money into XRP, you're down by 16%. What's more consistent, investing into one single position or investing into the broader market? I'll give you the hint. It's investing into the broader market, right? Right now, we stand at a point to where a lot of times Bitcoin is more consistent than the broader market of crypto, which is insane to say, but it is. So when you look at Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin is down by 7.8%. The market is down by 10%. Ethereum down by 12. Bitcoin or BNB down by about 13. XRP down by 16. So if you're investing into these single positions, you're down by a lot, unless you put all your money into Tron, which is only down by 5%. So what these ETFs do is give you more consistency to invest into the broader market. This is why I currently hold a position in my IRA account that I will continue to invest into. That is GDLC. GDLC is a Grayscale CoinDesk Crypto 5. It invests into, or 5 ETF. It invests into the top 5 cryptocurrencies in the market. I have $10 a day that's being invested into it. So $50 a week, and I will consistently invest into this position. Why? Because it's tracking the top 5 cryptocurrencies that are there, more of a broader look rather than just looking at Bitcoin. And I think once you get to a point where you have the top 5 cryptocurrencies that are maybe all worth $1 trillion, now they're still majority of the market, because currently the top 5 is like 90%, but at that point it'll be 99%, 98% or whatever. But then you have other things that will start to come up as newer, as a bear market happens, as a bull market happens, right? The next bull market, not this one, but the next bull market, and other things are up in the 100 billion, 200 billion, whatever, and you have more consistency to where the top 5 cryptocurrency doesn't hold as much value as it did before, but you also have another ETF that's the top 25 ETF. I will invest heavily into that. So investing into the broader markets does help you with consistency, but it does allow them to have control because majority of that money is going into their fund. But still, they choose on whatever they want to invest it into based on the outlines of that investment or the outline of that ETF. And then you go from there. My nose is starting to or my throat is starting to get raspy. Y'all need a hot cold wallet and buy in secret. These exchanges be holding y'all back. I truly agree with that. Robinhood has done to me on some limit orders with stocks. Yeah, if something's popular and has a lot of movement, they tend to like don't allow you to buy or something like that. People need to understand wars coming. That's why everyone is buying gold and silver. I wouldn't say everyone's buying it, but you do have people that consistently buy gold and silver. Matthew, expense ratio is high, 59. There's others that are literally 1%. So while it is high, the level of return that you get investing directly into the broader crypto market is a lot more, right? And yes, the market has come down by 8%. This position has come down by 8%. But the growth that I've seen, right? If I look at over time and where that was, I bought down here at 53 cents or so. It got all the way up to, or $53. It got all the way up to $61. The growth can be massive that you have within it. So that expense ratio, it doesn't necessarily hit as hard as like another ETF that I would have that has a a super high expense ratio. So, and honestly, I don't even have the expense ratio broken down here. But I do have some other ETFs that I currently hold that have a higher expense ratio than that, which I don't like. I don't like to have anything that has a higher expense ratio, but whatever. I like things that have low expense ratios, ones that can pay, especially in my dividend portfolio, ones that can pay me a decent amount in my dividend overall portfolio. But like in the last week, I'm down by $6,000 in my dividend portfolio. But some other ones like FDVV that I currently hold, um, let's see, we'll have a 0.16% expense ratio invested in a highly technological space, right? I believe it's like 50, or no, sorry, 26, 27% there. But then I do hold some. I can't remember exactly which ones they are. VYM is a low expense ratio, right? Yeah, 0.06. So I don't like tracking. I would say I don't like tracking individual positions. I always look at the higher positions, or the ones that are like all encompassing in a way. Any news on what was the big trigger on the massive sell off? So it looks like they say it's trade war escalation when it comes to Trump's announcement of the 100% tariff uh, on export controls on China created significant market uncertainty and risk off sentiment among investors. So it's saying that was a big um, you know crash point, I would say. Do you still think Jasmy will hit $1.25 by the end of the year? I never thought Jasmycoin would hit $1.25 by the end of the year, unless you can bring that up. My point of where I want to see it is 25 cents by the end of the year. By the end of the bull market and by the end of altcoin season, I expect to see that $1 to $1.50 mark. Jasmy $50 is it worth it? Can be life changing. I think Jasmy is worth it. I think Jasmy is a good play. Don't be fooled. There will be more pullbacks this weekend. We'll see. I mean, I don't expect to see it that level of pullbacks. If we are going to see any type of a pullback, I would expect to see some of those, the low levels that we saw at the higher points rather than the low levels we saw at the lowest point. So I don't expect to see that. Um, but every time it seems to be some sort of major negative news that comes from the government to really crash the market. I'm new to investing, and I'm only in XRP, XLM, HBAR for crypto, and Adobe, KDP, Dr. Pepper for stocks. do you have any other good stocks or coins to get into? And how do you feel about my decision so far? I think your decisions are good. It looks like uh, you're more ISO specific in your plays, which are great plays, right? You look at XRP, XLM. Obviously it was a great place. H bar is a great play as well. You look at Adobe for stocks, of course. I think Coinbase is a good play. I don't know where it stands right now, but where I bought Coinbase was great for stocks. I think MicroStrategy was obviously good, but I've adopted more of the long term um, route for my stock portfolio. So I haven't really looked at it and went, oh, I should invest into this individual position, because I've been heavily on ETFs, broader market ETFs, and index funds, and just trying to be a part of what has traditionally worked, what has historically worked. Um, but then when it comes to cryptocurrency, that's where I'm taking a lot of my risk, where I'm investing into some of these plays like a Jasmycoin, like an XRP. I think Atom's a good play. I think AVAX at where it stands at $20 is a great play. Um, so ATOM is a good play if you want to look at that, the history and where that stands, where that's going to go. If you want to look at Atom, sorry, I said Atom already. If you want to look at um, AVAX, so AVAX, or Avalanche, that's a great play at $20. Phenomenal. I think that has so much more potential to grow. um, if you wanted to, let me see what else is on my watch list. I'm trying to think of like what good prices are at right now. I feel like Kronos is a good play, especially at 15 cents. I think that has a lot of potential in where it stands. Um, XRP, where it stands, obviously is good, but you said you had XRP. Caspa, I think is a good play at 5.5 cents. Absolutely. I think I can go far. Um, I really like Urine Finance, but that's $4,500 per coin. But that's just a kind of a play that I wanted to take. So there's a lot. There's a lot that's out there. A lot of opportunity, and you really can't go wrong with a lot of these plays that you have in the market, as long as you're investing for a better reason rather than just the meme side of it. You can take some of those risks and buy some memes, but it should be more about what the use case is going to be and how it could potentially be implemented or put into our economy in some form or fashion in some way, right? Don't underestimate nerds will spend money on. Don't underestimate what nerds will spend money on. Yeah, thumbs up this stream. Yeah, definitely do that. We got 166 likes, which is insanely low compared to the amount of views that we had and viewers as well. So if you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, please do so. I'm going to have to hop off of here. Cali also grows good and guaranteed returns, because my voice is starting to absolutely go. But I just wanted to get a sense of where everybody else's heads is at, what happened with my plays that I currently hold, and if I expect to see any type of major returns. See how that kind of turned. The inconsistent or the indecision candlestick definitely showed there when it was negative, and now it's starting to show more of that positivity, right? It's starting to create a hammer look on it rather than, a spinning top like it was, to show that inconsistency. Now things are starting to look a little bit more consistent to where they could push past this all-time high for, let's say, XRP and other positions that you see in the market. You can see that move with it as well. So it's good. Thanks for the great closing statement. I don't think things are closed yet. Bought some MEXC. Is it worth it? I think it's a good play. I think I only have MEXC. If I follow my favorite positions, I think I have MEXC here, but I don't know where I put it. I don't know if it's the best position. I mean, you're only seeing $1 million worth of volume versus the $1 million market cap, but that's 60% volume to market cap ratio. So you could see something happened there. But you have 143 holders, so that's a little tricky, especially for having 32,000 people that are following it. You have 143 holders. You need more holders than that. Um, it's available in a lot of places, but you have 143 holders, like 143. That's crazy. Thanks so much for the insight, man. No problem. Where my head is at, I don't do leverage trading. I bought my crypto last year and I'm still way up. Yeah, I mean, most of my positions I'm still way up. There's a lot of positions that I bought at higher levels that this fall has brought them down to even lower levels. I haven't checked my Coinbase yet, but I would imagine things look very bad there. But ultimately, if I look at the price from starting to price where we are now, I'm still significantly up. So I'm not mad at it all. Hey Matt, were you able to pick up 6C or 12C CRO? No. Trying to think of what that is. Oh, 6 cent or 12 cent CRO. No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't even know it got that low. Um, what was the lowest point? Let me see. I don't think I checked it on BTCC. Where's that? Because this shows the trade view look, which gives me a full breakdown of kind of what the lowest point was. So the lowest point says was about 6 or almost 7 cents. So I wasn't able to pick it up at 7 cents. I wish I would have saw it there because I probably could have and should have, but I'm fine with it. It's main positions, like they're outright positions, not leverage trading. Um, so I'm not mad at it at all. I was panicking, almost cried. I was able to pick up a lot around 8 cents and 9 cents. I panic bought with all my fiat. Well, that's amazing because if you bought at 9 cents, you were significantly up on that position that you bought, however much that was. So, congratulations on that. And I think you're going to see much more success moving forward. I also purchased MOG and I know nothing about it. That's fine sometimes. As long as you see the potential in the price movement, you're fine, right? You don't have to necessarily know exactly what it does because a lot of this stuff is kind of unknown. Um, I always like to know at least a little bit about it, but there are some times where I'm like, I'm gonna buy. One case in point was OKB. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that they added the supply. Once I saw that, I was like, I have to get into it. And I got into it at 95 cents, rose to $200 plus, and I was up thousands of dollars on my investment that I put in there. And I was very happy with that, right? I was happy with that play. I was happy with how much I put in there. I was happy with the leverage that I put it in. Um, but I'm very upset with the fact that my other positions, the stop loss didn't get triggered where it should have. Um, but that's just the game that you play when it comes to crypto. It's so volatile, it can move so fast, and you're not guaranteed to get filled at that spot. I guess that's exactly what happened. This drop was perfect to buy CRO. Yeah. Good luck with Coinbase buying and selling, suspending during the drops. Some shady stuff. They're trying to buy XRP, HBAR, and ICP, and the tickets got rejected, declined. Hey, I heard about that. I think that was a lot of places like exchanges have trouble with the volume. However, buying on chain, if you wanted to buy a position, you could be able to buy it easily. So that goes to show where you can learn a lesson. Maybe you should have some money that's on chain, on various chains. So if you're buying on Binance Smart Chain, have some BNB in your possession. If you're buying on Ethereum, have some Ethereum in your possession, USDT in your possession, and have it on actual, wallets that you can swap on rather than go on Coinbase or crypto.com or something like that. Buy directly on the chain. That's a lesson learned, right? I always, and I'm going to say always, as long as I don't make a purchase there, I always have money on chain directly. I have money on chain right now for Binance Smart Chain, for Ethereum, for Base, for Solana, for AVAX, for Kronos. I have money on basically every single chain just in case I need to make a larger purchase like that, if I feel it necessary to do so. And that's why I'm like, I could potentially swap for another amount of Grock if I truly believe in it, which I do. So I probably should. I could also swap for other things. But we'll see. You'll know if I'm like, hey, I got 3 million Grock. This is where I expect it to go. I longed CRO at 7 cents and currently up 10K. Hope, congratulations. Congratulations on that. I'm excited for you. I haven't been able to do anything with this drop besides watch. That's all I've been able to do. I don't have a chance to do what you do. Well, I appreciate you being here. What do you think about XRP? I love XRP. I don't just think anything about it. Like, I love XRP and everything that they have to offer. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. But anyways, guys, I think I got to get out of here. I don't think I can be on here all night. Oh, wait, maybe I could. I could be on here for a little bit longer because I don't know if we're working out today. We should. XRP to $1 million. I don't know about all that. I appreciate all you guys for being here. We got 227 people that are here. I really wanted to be live on TikTok, and I don't know why it doesn't allow me to do it on TikTok as well. Because I don't ever go live on there. I would love to continue to go live everywhere and just have that and have some sort of format for TikTok as well. But glad I made you laugh. But yeah, I don't know about seeing XRP to $1 million. I wouldn't even really entertain that. If it happens, I wouldn't be mad at it. I might not hold anything at that point, but would be fantastic. I appreciate it. I was down $1,500 on a long cut my losses before getting liquidated and got back in on that big red candle. Yeah, I wish I would have seen everything that happened. Because even if I saw everything that was happening in the time or at the time of it happening, I probably still wouldn't have been able to avoid what actually transpired because everything came back down. Like, CRO down to 13, right? If I look at AVAX, right? I think my liquidation point, I think I said was 16 or something. AVAX came all the way down to like $8, which I think would be a phenomenal price for me to buy AVAX, right? I would have loved to have bought maybe another, because I have 500. I could have bought another 500 at that point. Or I could have even bought 1,000. I could have bought another 500, yeah. And that would have been half of what that is. It wouldn't have been $8,000. It would have been like $4,000. So I could have bought another 500 AVAX and have been up a significant amount, had 1,000 to my name. That would have been amazing. Because right now I have 500 and 100 that's sitting over in my Ledger wallet that I could have then put 500 over in my Ledger wallet and been able to gain whatever the percentage is there. So kind of sucks. Kind of sucks that I didn't see it. But anyways, you see how far it dropped from that, $26 or $24 level all the way down to here of 21, and then the drop from there to there was huge. So while my liquidation point was right here, it must have just absolutely burst past it. And that's the issue that you deal with, right? If exchanges stop you from like trading it, like if it's so much activity and you can't trade, you then get fully liquidated because none of your orders will go through. And that's an exchange by exchange basis. You don't expect to see this type of thing that happens. You really don't. So now again, with my BTCC, I have to start over from scratch basically. While I was up $6,000, I'm now only up $87. And it sucks, but it's also a part of the investing life or crypto investing life. I easily bought like 30 minutes ago. Hey brother, hope as well. Last time we spoke, I had 1,700 XRP. Today I bought the dip and I have 2,500 XRP now. God is great. Love from UK. Well, thank you for watching, first of all. Second of all, congratulations on being able to buy this dip. And third, congratulations on hitting the $2,500 or 2,500 XRP mark. Because with the movement, with the prices that you see in XRP, it gets harder and harder to purchase XRP because the prices just go up. And it just seems like, you're at higher and higher prices and you have no opportunities to buy. But things like this give you that opportunity. So congratulations on that. End of the day, as long as you didn't sell, you're still in the game. Yeah, unless you had leverage trades, then you got liquidated. But my main positions, I don't put all my positions in leverage trading. My main positions, I'm buying outright. So I don't have any type of impatient bone in my body. Like I'm ready to see some of these prices get hit, but it doesn't mean that I needed to hit those prices like right now. Did I buy more AVAX? Oh, I did Jasmy and Adam. I was going to say his AVAX came up to 21 versus the $20 price that it was at. What meme coins do you guys, did you guys purpose? This is pure casino raw. Or purchase, that's what you're trying to say. So I didn't purchase any meme coins recently. I actually might decide to get a little bit more Grock. I know that Grock is not everyone's favorite position. Anyone's favorite position, really. But I might have to do it. Buying another $870 worth, I really might have to do it. I know this is on BNB, so it's probably going to be a little tough to do that because I have no Ethereum. Oh, wait, I got some Ethereum. Let's see if I could swap this for Grock. Like a 0.1. Network fee is $12. That's insane. Oh. So yeah, I don't have anything else. Because this can only be swapped for, it can't be swapped from chain to chain. Because this is on base. I don't need on base. I need to, now let me switch that around. There you go. I don't have any USDC, but I do have, is it going to allow me to swap networks? It might. Let's see if that'll work. It'll allow me to swap networks. But I think that's do you own any BNB, Matt? Yes, I have 10 BNB over in my Ledger wallet. I don't plan on touching or doing anything with. I did sell my other BNB at a level of $900. Um, and that gave me a decent profit, but probably should have sold a little bit later, but I wanted to put that money somewhere else and you know, didn't want to hold it where I was holding it. But yeah, I have BNB. I'm just glad that majority of my cash flow money is sitting in stable coins. Like it's not in Ethereum or it's not in, I mean, what I just had in Ethereum, that definitely got moved. But now I have just about 3 million tokens. I don't actually have 3 million tokens. What the hell, man? That should have been 3 million. But I guess not. But I'll make my moves with the 900,000 and then utilize the next million and then keep a million for a longer term. CRO needs to make it to $1 in order for me to start my next business venture. Well, you're going to see it get to $1. It's just about patience. I like when token better, to be honest. Do you think we will see XRP at $10 by the end of 2025? No, I don't. I think we will see it at $10. It's just not by the end of 2025. Do you own any BNB? Yes, CRO make it to $1 in order for me to start my next business. Do you think XRP will at $10 by the end of this year? Again, no. When did when did you buy CRO? What number at exchange? So when did I first buy CRO? It was on crypto.com and it was primarily to get the card for CRO. I wanted well, actually, no, I bought before that. So I had a little bit of CRO. I was just dabbling in crypto before I really started to dive into it. But then I started buying more after I made money from Dogecoin and spread that to Ethereum and ADA. Um, and then I can just continue to buy more. And my overall cost basis after all the purchases, I think my original price that I bought at was like 39 cents. Then I bought at 50 cents. And then I bought on the way down at 30 cents and then 25 cents and then a lot at 5 cents. Some in between as well. But I was able to capture about 420,000 CRO and I loved it and I still love it because now I have enough to be a private member of crypto.com and get the icy white card. However, I haven't fully applied for the icy white card because I'm waiting for this bonus from the Gemini card to go through. What are you doing, Daisy? Can you stop being bothered by her? Come here. Sound like a mountain lion. Not you, Spencer. All right, whatever. Then don't love me. Fine. What did I ever do to you? We're not friends. Me and that Spencer cat right there, the one that's on the thing, that's Spencer. Daisy is somewhere. She was just behind the target thing, but um, now she's not. Daisy. Who's over there? Do you see Liv all the way back there? She's right there, moving around. That's Olivia. Chronos, Jasmy, XLM. Pick one, boss. Chronos, Jasmy, XLM. Pick one. I think Jasmy is at a great price right now. I would pick Jasmy if I was looking to invest into one right now specifically. Like you're like, hey, I want to invest into something one of these three. What's going to give me a better return in your opinion? I think Jasmycoin below 1 cent is phenomenal. Matt, look at XRP chart before 2017 breakout. It went down to 1 cent before altcoin season. It's playing like today's event. Let's go. I don't know if it had that much of a downturn, but still, I'm gonna take XLM. It's just cleaner, faster too. I mean, that's up to you. It's. Oh wait, this is a different person. But yeah, I'm a big fan of like what my opportunity will be. I think all of them will have um, success. I like XLM. I don't have any XLM, and I don't know where XLM's price is right now. Did it have a major reaction to what happened? I know XRP did, so I would imagine XLM did as well. Um, so yeah, it looks like it had a super like major reaction, but still has recovered pretty well to where it is right now. So XLM is XLM like XRP. Ah, I consider them a baby version, right? Where I look at XRP um, as something that's they're the parent, right? But then you have an XLM that's just a slight bit lower, usually 10% of whatever XRP is at. But then you have XDC that's also 10% of what XLM is at. So you see them kind of flow together and function together. Sometimes you'll see XLM that'll run more than XRP, but they all seem to flow in the virtually the same direction. We are early. Many people have no clue about the markets. I agree. Did Adam just wick to 1 cent? Adam just wicked to or 1% of a minute? I didn't see that. No. I think the lowest price that it got to was like a dollar or something, $1.50. We are all early. Man, people have no clue. Hey Matt, any crypto you regret buying or investing in? Um, I don't know. I mean, since we haven't seen altcoin season, it's tough to say whether I regret buying into anything. Um, but yeah, I think the MAGA Trump crypto and the Joe Biden crypto, both of those I kind of regret buying into because I put thousands into it. And while they both did experience increases and I was able to be up on both of those plays, they didn't stay where they were at and they didn't have the reaction that I thought we were going to see during the election, right? So, yes, I regret buying those two. Um, I wish I would have put them into something that has more use case potential, but that was mainly for like a popularity play. I was like, all right, I got some money to play with. Let me see this popularity play. And I think we could see some major upticks in this because of the volume, because of the hype, because of the places that you're able to buy it. However, that wasn't the case. And it sucked, not being able to make a ton of money out of that. For the Joe Biden coin, I put 1,200 into it, which I think was entirely too much. At one point, I was up by lady, what do you missed the litter box? She just that's wild. Like you're nowhere near the litter box. What are you even doing? Now I gotta sit here in this and what's happening here. Good thing you can't see it. I don't know what's up with her. 2 weeks to claw our way back today's prices. I got destroyed today. Was wondering when something like this was going to happen. This cycle, 20 million um, in under an hour is insane. Yeah. Have you played around with Solana meme coins this year? I have not. I don't think this year. I have some still in my possession, but nothing that's notable really. It's Freaky Friday. Catch it all day. Yeah, I'm gonna get off of here in like 2 seconds, and I have to clean this up. I don't know what her problem is, man. And now she's like hiding behind the cat door. I can see you. I don't know if you know that. I can see you. It's crazy. Unless she popped up behind me somewhere. I swear I see a shadow behind that cat door. She's just waiting there. Like, when's he gonna leave? She's taking a dump like Bitcoin. Yeah, I guess. The moment you can't invest your money with a leverage trade, that's good. That's good right there. All right, guys, I have to get off of here. This was amazing to have a live stream late at night for like 2 hours. It's longer than the live streams we have during the day. Um, but I appreciate you guys for being here. We will see what's happening tomorrow. Um, but I don't know how many videos I'm gonna put out tomorrow, if I'm even gonna put out any, because I got a busy day tomorrow. Um, so we'll see. I'm gonna be playing basketball early in the morning, and then the rest of the day is filled by family stuff. So hopefully we got some positivity that's happening. But if you guys could hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, check out my link for BTCC if you guys are interested in any type of leverage trading. I know it can be risky, but you can also make a decent amount of money with it. It's just this unicorn situation doesn't happen often, right? I can understand why it happened, and I don't even need a full explanation, even though I asked for one. I don't need a full explanation and know why this happened. Things were so fast, it just reacted that way. Guys, have a good night. Hit that like button or day, whatever time you're watching this. And subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.